We don't settle our differences in America with a riot, a mob, or a bullet, or a hammer. We settle them peaceably at the ballot box.
Not you guys. I don't think you guys do. Legal Insurrection had a pretty good rundown just of the 6 months of 2020, all of the violent riots and the assaults and murders that took place as a form of protest from the left. I mean, they normalized it. They mainstreamed it. New York Times was apoplectic. Quote, why charges against protesters? They were lamenting that these protesters were being targeted. You mean the ones setting buildings on fire? The ones who were burning down businesses and homes? Those? Oh, they have an exhaustive list. They noted that this is 2020 alone. In May, they had a major riots in Minneapolis. It was described as a, generally speaking, unruly, but protest. In June, you had people, a rage mob threw the statue of an actual abolitionist into a lake. In Seattle, the police surrendered their police station and 4 entire city blocks to Antifa. Riots and looting nationwide. Portland rioters in July set fire to a bloody pig's head with a cop's hat on a U.S. flag. And then people were violently attacked in Portland, including a conservative journalist who was stabbed simply for reporting on what they were doing publicly. The riots and destruction continued. There was the assault on the federal courthouse. You could say it was an insurrection, but the Portland mayor and the media said those were just protests. And they busted into the courthouse and were breaking windows, et cetera, et cetera. Don't forget, in August, then you had Senator Rand Paul and others attacked by mobs when they left a speech that Trump gave in D.C. And then, of course, the riots in Kenosha, in Minneapolis, and then in D.C., where diners were harassed and screamed at and assaulted outside if they didn't raise their fists in solidarity. In Portland, rioters wheeled guillotines through suburbs and were intimidating residents. And then in Seattle of that same month, rioters were trying to burn police officers alive. They sealed shut a precinct door. I mean, you want to have a discussion about insurrections. I think that destroying the electronic key card off the door and trying to prevent people from exiting or entering, they were tormenting the police. They sealed them in there and they were trying to set it on fire and burn them alive in the building in Seattle. Oh, and then don't forget in Portland, too, a BLM rage mob caused a man to crash. They wouldn't get out of the way of his car, and he was trying to just get around. And they drug him out of the car and beat him and his wife, beat him until he was bloody and unconscious, called him racial slurs. They crashed his truck purposefully and drug his wife and him out of the ground. So crazy. Oh, there's all kinds of stuff. Don't forget the other county government buildings in Portland that people set fires to. The left was, they said they were damaging the Office of Community Involvement. They engaged in the distribution of public resources. They were setting stuff on fire inside, all kinds of equipment. Oh, and then don't forget they attacked, the violent left in Chicago attacked the actual Ronald McDonald House. Where children are kept in intensive care and their families are accommodated so that they can be with their children as they receive long-term care. Yeah, they vandalized it and attacked it and were intimidating the families and their sick kids who were huddled, terrified inside. There were 30 families and their sick children inside. They were very concerned. ABC 7 Chicago reported that the director of Ronald McDonald House Charities was very concerned. They were in a difficult spot. They had a lot of safety concerns, and that the families that were already dealing with a lot of strain had a lot of stress on top of it. There was a mother who was crying when she gave her response to the press. Thankfully, no one inside was injured, but this is what was taking place. And then you had Louisville in September, another city struck by violence and riots. And then in Los Angeles County, deputies were shot and leftist rioters were screaming outside, "We hope they die," and right at the hospital. Then, of course, there was the Target Georgetown CVS where leftist rioters targeted the target, because previously the employees had the nerve to call the police on 2 shoplifters, reports Legal Insurrection. There's all kinds of video and everything. The employees simply called the police for shoplifters, and a leftist riotist mob went out and attacked and rioted and just was trying to destroy the store. Oh, I have like this is just in the first 6 months of 2020. I haven't even gotten into Wisconsin after there was an officer-involved shooting and rioters decided to go into the neighborhoods and damage homes and stores. So what did Joe Biden say again? What was his quote? That we don't solve things, we don't settle our differences in America with a riot. Joe Biden, you and your party have been settling differences in America with riots. Actually, go back to Occupy Wall Street. You can go back to the Weather Underground in the 60s. But most recently, y'all have been settling stuff with riots since the night of the inauguration in 2016. That is exactly what they do.